students, good morning. Today we are going to discuss the topic Ascent of Sap. The ascent of sap means the water and the nutrients. Okay, so when we add the water in the soil, it produces the soil solution. It contains the water and nutrients, and this water and nutrients, it is absorbed by the roots. It is absorbed by the roots. So in the xylem, xylem contains the water with dissolved dissolved nutrients in it. Dissolved nutrients in it is known as the sap. Okay. So the ascent of sap, the sap means the water and nutrients which are present in the, when we apply water in the soil, in the water the nutrients get dissolved, which are absorbed by the water, and it is translocated through the xylem. So the xylem, it contains water and dissolved nutrients which are translocated from root to the shoot tip. Okay, root to the shoot, and it is known as the sap. Okay, so the ascent of sap means it is the conduction of water and minerals through the xylem. Through the xylem. Okay, so that is known as the ascent of sap. Ascent of sap, or we can say that it is the upliftment of water and minerals from root to the shoot tip. That means to all the part of the plant is known as ascent of sap. Okay, so this sap, it is translocated through the xylem. And it distributes to all the part of the plant. That means it is to the shoot, that means to the stem, to the leaves, to the flowers, to the fruits. That means all part of the plants. Okay, so through the xylem, from the root xylem, it translocates to the shoot xylem, to the shoot, or to the stem, leaves, flowers and fruits, all part of the plants, for their growth and development. Okay, so this ascent of sap takes place against the gravity. Okay, so it required a strong force. Okay, so many of the physiologists, they think about the plant, the conduction of water or translocation of water through the xylem up to the plants which having the 100 meters in height. So the such plants, it may be the redwood tree, or it is known as the sequoia plant, or it is the redwood tree, or it may be the eucalyptus, nilgiri, or it may be the number of the pinus trees, or the we can say that the conifers. gymnospermic plant, that is the conifers. So these plants, they are more than 100 meters in height. So the physiologists, they think about what is the mechanism behind this ascent of sap. Okay, so how the water is translocated or how the water is conducted up to 100 meters in height. Okay, so when we study the ascent of sap, so there are the two aspects of that ascent of sap. Two aspects of the ascent of sap. So first is the path of translocation or path of ascent of sap. And the second, what is the mechanism behind it? What is the mechanism behind it? Okay, so there are two aspects about the ascent of sap. First is the path and second is the mechanism. So first of all, here we will discuss about the path of translocation of the ascent of sap. We know that the xylem, even though it is a dead tissue, it contains the vessels, then tracheids, xylem fibers, and the xylem parenchyma. Okay. So if we study the structure of vessel, these are the cylindrical structures which having the perforated walls and the pits over it. Okay. It may be the pitted, it may be the border, pitted, or it may be the simple. Okay. So these are the vessels, these are the tube-like structures, and they having the open ends with the perforated walls. Then tracheids, the tracheids, it may be, these are the long, elongated tube-like structures. Okay. So these are the tracheids on which also the pits are present. Okay, and if it's fibers, the fibers means these are the elongated and tapering big sclerenchymatous tissue. So the structure of all these, that means the xylem, tracheids, xylem vessels, xylem fibers. So the structures of the vessels, tracheids, and these fibers, this supports the conduction of water through it. Okay, this support their structure. It supports the conduction of water takes place because these are the pipeline like empty structures through which the water can be easily translocated or it can be easily conducted through it. Okay, so the path of conduction of water is that when there is the soil water. Okay, so when this soil water, it is absorbed by the root hairs. Okay, it is root hairs, it is the epiblema. Okay, it is the epiblema, root hairs, or it is the epiblema. So from the epiblema, the water, it enters into the cortical cells, or we can say that the cortex. Okay, so water enters into the cortex or cortical cells. From the cortical cells, it enters into the endodermis. It enters into the endodermis. Okay. From the endodermis, it enters into the pericycle. Okay. In the endodermis, there are the cells, they are thick walled due to the suberin or due to the lignin. So there are the Casparian strips. So some cells, they are the thin walled cells. So that are known as the passage cells. So this through the passage cell to the endodermis, water enter into the pericycle. Then from pericycle, it enters into the xylem tissue. Xylem tissue. That means in the protoxylem and then in the metaxylem. Then from metaxylem and protoxylem, it enters into the xylem strand. Xylem strand. Okay, it enters into the xylem strand, and from xylem strand it enters into the shoot. That means in the shoot it may be to the stem, to the branches, to the leaves, to the flowers, to the fruits, all parts of the plant. So that is the shoot. Okay, so it is the path of translocation of the water, or it is the path of ascent of sap. Okay, so I hope you got the point, or we can draw here directly from the root. Here it enters into the endodermis, then from the endodermis directly to the pericycle, pericycle to xylem tissue, then xylem tissue to xylem strand, xylem strand, and from xylem strand to the shoot. Okay, in this way also you can write the pathway. Okay, it may be drawn like this. You may draw like this or like this. Okay, so it is the ascent of sap. Okay, it is also known as path of ascent of sap. I hope you got the point. So, what is meant by the ascent of sap? It is the upliftment of water and mineral through the xylem, or from the root to the shoot of the plant against the gravity. So that is known as the ascent of sap. Okay. I hope you got the points. Thank you very much.